Good afternoon and welcome to the show, the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. I'm Matt Wallen, and with me are the real deals, Brad, J-Ro, and Ike Wilcox.
What's up?
Howdy, howdy.
Good weekend of sports, guys. Good weekend. We saw the Masters. We can talk about that. We saw history. We saw the tying of history. There is now not only one team, there are now two teams that have reached the 72 win mark in the NBA season. How was y'all's weekend, though?
Too short as always, but
yeah, it always is.
Yeah, really relaxed. I had to do like projects and essays and stuff all over the weekend, but other than that, just a typical weekend.
What stood out to you guys on the sports landscape, though, for the weekend?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't get to watch hardly any of the Masters, except for pieces here and there, just kind of like in passing. But I did watch most of the Spurs-Warriors game last night, and, you know, the only conclusion I can really come to is the Warriors are really, really good. I mean, what else can be said?
Yeah,
they can win any
agree.
kind of game. Even last night, it was a low-scoring game, and they come out and they beat a team that was, 38-0 at home up to that point. I mean, they're just incredible, and there's really nothing else to be said.
Ike, what about you?
Same with him. The Spurs and Warriors game was pretty interesting. I was following it while I was watching the MTV Movie Awards.
Who won that?
Star Wars won the best.
Best,
movie.
really?
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I had to watch The Rock and Kevin Hart. They were hilarious. But I did watch a little bit of the Masters, and I was surprised that Jordan didn't get the job done. I was really rooting for him, and he's still a great golfer. Don't get me wrong.
Man, if you just think
I just
about
want
this.
him to be. What's up?
First Masters comes in second.
Yeah.
Second comes in first.
Mm-hmm.
Third, second.
He's great.
He is great in Augusta.
Second, yeah. He's a good golfer. I was really wanting him to win back-to-back though, you know. And people were like, "Well, dude, you're just jumping on the Jordan bandwagon." I'm like, I'm sorry that I'm happy to see a young player be very successful. Like this is how people felt when Tiger came into the game. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
It's cool to see it. I like to see like history being made and stuff. You know, like the Warriors. Like a lot of people are fronting that they really don't want them to break it. Why? This is our generation. We should be happy that we get to witness this.
I think the problem is people want a better storyline than Spieth winning back-to-back. Like, the Willett storyline is a good storyline.
Yeah, tell us.
We'll talk about it, we're going to go break in a second, and then we'll do it in the second half, and we'll talk about it. We'll have some audio clips being played. What do we got? What's going on? Anything good happening today?
I mean, a couple. I just have a couple things. Okay. And we have to get that done before I leave, though.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. You're leaving early.
Yeah.
We'll do that. How about we'll move the Masters back, and once we come back from break,
we'll do what's going on.
We'll do what's going on. Okay, I'll get the music ready. It'll be quick? Okay. But the people want to know what's going on.
All right.
Let's see. We'll also be talking about this bowl situation. It came out today. The NCAA is not going to add any more bowl games for the next 3 seasons. And if you think about it, there were 3 teams last year that made it to a bowl game that were under 500. But who it dampers or puts dampers the mood of, or however you want to say it, is Austin, Texas. And then 2 cities in South Carolina, I believe Charleston and Myrtle Beach. I'll have to look it up to be sure. But those 3 were in the midst of trying to get a bowl game, and now that's going to be put on hold for at least 3 years. We'll talk about that coming up if that's a good idea. That and much more. And then Kobe coming to OKC tonight. Last road game.
Tomorrow night? Is it tonight or tomorrow night?
It's tonight.
Really? I thought it was tomorrow night.
It says Monday. Monday, 7 o'clock.
Okay, I stand corrected. This whole time I thought it was tomorrow, so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Last game is Wednesday.
What'd you say?
Their last game is Wednesday against
San Antonio. And we'll talk about that as well because Spurs, no one's playing in that game. No one.
And which could possibly be Tim Duncan's last regular season game ever.
It's true.
Ooh, but does he even play?
Exactly.
We've been okay. We'll get into this later because I feel like we've been saying that for a while. This could be his last regular season game. Okay, we'll take a quick break, then we'll be back. You're listening to the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. It's 12:17 and you're listening to the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. Well, guys, Ike, are you ready?
I'm ready, buddy.
You ready? Okay, give me a second. I have to switch over to your music bed real quick,
Ready.
but it is now time for What's Going On.
Whoa.
What's going on? Beautiful as always.
Thank you.
So what is going on?
All right, like I said, I was watching the MTV Movie Awards last night, and there was an interesting commercial that came on with Kobe Bryant. It was a Apple TV commercial, but the thing was, it was kind of cool. Do you guys know the actor Michael B. Jordan? He's the guy from Creed,
Yeah.
Fruitvale Station. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there in the commercial, it's like they're pretending that Michael B. Jordan is about to play in a biopic of Kobe Bryant. And basically, Michael B. Jordan was just calling him Father Time. He's old. Like, he mentioned, what is that movie called? Life of Benjamin Button. He's like, I'm going to have to watch that to really get into the role of you. And so it was hilarious. If you guys watch it, like, it was pretty decent. Like, he's like one of my favorite modern day actors of today. Number two, finally, I've been talking about this documentary forever. I wanted to talk to you guys about it. ESPN, they bought out that 7-hour documentary of O.J. Simpson at the Sundance Festival. And it is releasing, I believe, let me get the exact date. It's a 5-part series that is going to be released June 11th. So this
Played on ESPN?
Played on ESPN. So 30 for 30, but it's going to be a 5-part
Wow.
30 for 30.
So just about like his career, and
About
then of
his
course you have the whole
life.
trial and
His whole life. Like, the
Man.
trial will be the center, like the focal point about it, but it's going to talk about like his early life, his career, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
all the stuff that he's been through. And
what's the thing that you're watching now?
that's called The People versus OJ, which ended
That's on
last
FX,
week.
isn't it?
That's on FX. That was just about the trial. Now we're about
Okay.
to dig in deep about his life and everything.
It's pretty cool, but at some point I just wonder, like, when is it too much?
Yeah, it does seem like, and ironically, he's up for probation next year. So, like, it's just like
There's gonna be
we're
more
getting
news
like all of a sudden why. But it's interesting to me. I don't know why. I'm tired of
I mean, it is like the most iconic murder case
in
history,
American history,
so,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
My question would be this, and this is going back to your FX thing, because how did it end again?
He was not guilty.
No. How did they? No, how did they end the show?
Oh, I don't want to like spoil it if somebody's like listening.
Okay, from what you and I've talked about, okay, on how they end the show, is there a chance that they could keep it going somehow?
No. The next season is about Hurricane Katrina, like trials from the Katrina.
That's what they're doing next?
Yeah, that's what they're doing next. They
Okay.
kind of let it up like it was going to go to the civil case.
That's why I was going to say,
Okay.
could they go to the civil next?
Yeah, it led up to it going to, but it's not. Like, season 2 will be about the trials of Katrina, and I guess it's going to like, I don't know. It's not going. I don't want to say it's not.
How is
gonna
it
be better.
season 2 then if it's about something completely different?
It's kind of like the show is called American Crime Stories, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just, every season is a different
Crime story. Okay.
It's kind of like American Horror Story. It's kind of like that. Have you seen that? Like
No. Not really me.
season. Every season there's just a different
Okay.
plot or something
Interesting.
about it. So, and well, like I said, it was going to be a 5-part series, June 11th. It's going to be amazing. The third and last thing I'm going to talk about is Johnny Manziel and Von Miller.
Living together,
How do you guys
getting their
think about
getting their lives together. When I read this, I was like, Does Von Miller need to get his life together?
No, Von Miller's
He's an MVP.
I like it.
I'll tell you this. I smell a sitcom. Think about it. The one guy is a Super Bowl MVP. He's got his life together. Everything's on track. The other guy is, well, the opposite. It kind of reminds me of 2.5 Men, right?
2.5
One
Men.
guy's got his stuff together. The other one doesn't. It's like, oh, Johnny, there he goes again.
So,
I think that could be.
Are you telling me Von Miller would be Charlie Sheen?
No, I'm saying Johnny Manziel would be Charlie Sheen. Von Miller would be the other guy.
But in 2.5 Men, Charlie Sheen has his life more together than the other guy.
From money wise, but I mean like partying and being
the
crazy.
other guy's divorced and is
Do you
But he's
see?
not
My
nuts.
question is: do you see Johnny Manziel fitting with the Broncos? If that could happen, because
That would be
obviously
great.
that's why.
that would just be great. You know why?
I feel like it'd be awesome.
You want to talk about a sitcom? That would be great. Where's Hard Knocks going this year? They need to
I don't
just
know.
scratch it
If
and go to
Johnny-
Denver.
Oh yeah,
Just
Right?
go to Denver right now.
I still like the idea of a sitcom.
Well, sitcom I understand, but I'm saying I want to see this, and I don't want it just to be the preseason. I want it to be all season long. I want to see what happens, because can the Denver fans go crazy for Manziel like they did for Tebow?
And I was gonna,
Because they went crazy for Tebow.
Yeah, he was winning for him.
and I was gonna bring that up too. I mean, Tebow was a model citizen. Wouldn't it be funny if they got rid of him and then brought in Manziel? I mean, and Tebow's proven more than Manziel thus far. So
yeah.
So let's just go ahead and take a look at this. We have Tebow, like you said, the model citizen, and everything he stands for. Then we have Peyton Manning,
Yeah.
the sheriff. You know, the knight in shining armor. I know he's having some trouble with these allegations he has against him and all that, but he still won a Super Bowl for him. And, you know, all he's done, I mean, his legacy is already cemented in stone. But then you bring in Johnny Football. Man, the money sign, the drugs, and Denver too, of all places. Just wait. Just wait.
and
Just wait.
and let me bring in another dimension to this sitcom idea.
Oh my God.
Mark Sanchez. He's just a wacky character. Thinks he's all cool, but he just keeps running into people's butts and dropping
Butt
stuff.
fumble. Butt fumble.
He's like, "Hey guys, I brought the potato salad to the picnic." Oh no! He bumps into Miss Johnson's behind and drops the potato salad everywhere.
Sue,
Canned laughter. Ha 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 ha.
Sue can be the bully on the show.
Oh,
Sue comes in, beats him up, leaves. You know, he's the villain. He's the.
Sue is like Debo on Friday. I'm gonna tuck my chain in.
Here's the thing about Von Miller, though, that gets me, because he was on the ACM, Country Music Awards and all that,
Yeah.
and he comes out in an all-black cowboy suit with a cowboy hat
He's
as
a cowboy.
well, and the glasses. Those glasses,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
look like he's from the 80s.
He's a cowboy. He has his like own little chicken farm
He
and
played
everything.
at A&M.
Yeah.
He also wants to be a Dallas Cowboy. He's actually said that. That's not just me wishing things.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
That's him subtly reminding everybody, hey, that's where I really want to be.
Oh, that's what he's saying. Okay.
No, but I'm happy for Manziel though, because I feel like Von Miller is a great guy. He needs to be under people like that, you know, to get his life back on track. So
Okay.
that's it. That's all I have today for what's going on, dude.
Okay.
Go ahead and play it. Go ahead and play it.
What's going on? Beautiful as always. It's 12:25. We'll take a quick break, and Ike, you can head out. Got any
you,
last
guys.
words for the people?
Live life to the fullest. I love you guys. Thank you. Do your schoolwork.
Do your schoolwork. Well, thank you, Ike, very much. We'll take a quick break, then we'll be back and we'll break down the Masters, the Thunder, Golden State. They're at 72 wins. Just look at everything going on. It's going to be a good show. We're going to miss Ike, but I think Brad and I can hold it down.
We'll hold it down.
Hold the fort down. You're listening to the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. It's 12:29, and you're listening to the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. And Brad, let's talk about the Masters, man. It was a good week of golf. I know you said you didn't get much chance to watch the whole thing, but you got to watch little bits and pieces. What stood out to you the most?
I mean, it's just like what everybody's been talking about. Just Spieth, I mean, just coming out and just dominating, and then just kind of falling apart, and then Willett comes in, and that was what stood out to me the most. But I was really impressed with how just so many amazing shots that were made throughout the tournament, and the way Spieth was playing when he wasn't, down. It was kind of peaks and valleys, but yeah, it was really unfortunate for Spieth.
I'm glad you mentioned about how the whole field played, because there were 3 hole-in-ones on one hole alone, the 16th hole on the last day.
Yes,
Number 16.
That's amazing.
3 hole-in-ones. And one, the name is escaping me right now. The third one, he hits the shot on 16.
Mm-hmm.
It hits the other guy's ball and then goes into the hole.
Uh-oh.
Like, that's just some luck right there, but that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
still to say.
It is.
But yeah, Jordan Spieth, man, he had it going. He had a 7-shot lead after the first 9, and he was leading going into Sunday. And every time I say going into Sunday, I think of Jim Nantz, because he kept saying this, and this is his go-to line. It's Sunday at the Masters. And he's talking about it. Spieth had led going into Sunday for 7 straight rounds. Going back to last year, he was at the top of every round last year and the first 3 rounds this year. But it just shows you how tough that Sunday can be in Augusta.
It really is. And, there's so many questions after this. I think the biggest one is, a lot of people are saying this is the biggest collapse.
It's one of the biggest. You got to think about what Rory did.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to go back to 1996, the Shark.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Norman.
I don't think it's the biggest collapse. I think it's up there, but I think a lot of times we can kind of be prisoners of the moment and say, oh, this is the biggest, it's the craziest, but it's almost like a reality show. Every season this is the craziest, biggest thing. And, I like to say sports is, my reality show, my reality TV, and I don't really buy into that, but it was a big collapse.
I mean, it was pretty big collapse. In the first 9, let's see, hole 1, second hole, he birdied, third and fourth hole part. Okay, bogey on 5, and this was the key thing when he bogeyed on 5. The next 4 holes, he birdies. Okay, builds that lead up. He gets up. He has a 5-stroke lead over Willett. Willett, after 9, is setting at, let's see, he finished at 5 under. He's setting at 2 under. Okay, Spieth is setting at 7, 7 under, and then it all starts turning around at the 10th. You have the bogey on 10 and a bogey on 11. They even said after he bogeyed on 10, well, when he bogeyed on 5, he turned around and had 4 straight birdies. Well, he missed a putt on 11 that was a makeable putt that could have parred the hole, so he bogeys. Okay, well, you're going to go around, and on 12. It's a par 3. This is where you got the turn. You got 12, 13, 14, 15, and even 16. That little area right there, Amen's Corner, is where you can turn it around. And then all disaster happened on number 12, where he quadruple bogeyed. You did not hear me wrong, folks. Quadruple bogeyed.
On the par 3, right?
On a par 3. Took 7 shots.
Goodness.
Hit the water twice.
Oh, boy.
It's a rough day. And, Spieth would end up coming up in second. He did birdie 13 and 15, but bogeyed 17. He finishes tied with Lee Westwood. They'll both take home $800,000, which,
I'll take it, yeah.
It's a nice little secondary prize.
The next biggest question you have to ask is, we all know how mental the game of golf is. Does he bounce back from this?
I think he does. I mean, he's a very young player and has a great game. His short game is just absolutely amazing.
I also think that he's stronger mentally than a lot of other young players.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think about back to Rory, and the thing with Rory is, he had the collapse at the Masters a few years back. I can't tell you exactly how many years it was. I want to say 3 or 4. But he was able to win the British Open. But the thing that gets me about Rory is Rory, in my mind, has not been what he was ever since he switched to Nike, in my personal opinion.
That's an interesting point. Did you hear what he said about this Masters?
No, I did not.
He said that he succumbed to the pressure of trying to complete the career Grand Slam.
Well,
so
he's going to have that pressure for the rest of his life. We'll see if he's able to figure it out.
I thought that was interesting, though.
The difficult thing for Spieth, though, is he won last year. So he's part of the ceremony. He has to give Willett the jacket, present him the jacket.
Yeah,
and you
rough.
have to imagine how tough that is. And this is Spieth right here talking about how difficult that was to give the jacket and be present in the ceremony.
As you can imagine, that was, I can't think of anybody else who may have had a tougher ceremony to experience. Obviously happy for Danny. More important than golf, he's had a lot of really cool things happen in his life, and like he said, maybe fate had it this time for him, and I certainly wanted to control fate myself, but yeah, it was very tough given that it's so soon after the finish, and it was tough. But I thought that he handled it with extreme class, and I thought that I stood up there and smiled like I should, and appreciated everybody who makes this great tournament possible.
I mean, he said all the right things to say right there.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just kicking himself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it'd be a lot easier to swallow if he had played and let's say he was over par and had no shot of winning it, but he was right there. And then, I mean, he figuratively handed the tournament to Willett. Then he literally had to hand the jacket to Willett. So,
man. Yeah,
that's
it's
really
a tough
rough.
exchange right there. And we were talking about this before about Willett might have been the better story of what he's gone through, because Willett wasn't going to play in the tournament. For people who don't know, him and his wife had a child 12 days ago, or I guess 13 days ago from today. But he said before, if the baby had not come, he was not going to participate in the Masters.
Yeah, and that's incredible. That really is a great story.
And this is Willett right now talking about the last 12 crazy days.
It's been crazy. I'm not quite sure which is better, this day or last Tuesday. They're very, very, very close there. I don't know which one I should say to be politically correct, to be honest.
Last Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. I always said that I wouldn't come here if he wasn't born by now, which stuck. Fortunately enough, he listened to my prayers and he came early. But yeah, it's just been the most ridiculously awesome, 12 days, I guess. The words can't describe how I'm feeling right now, but words definitely can't describe how I was feeling last Tuesday when you get to hold, something that that me and my wife have made. It's just been incredibly surreal. And like I said, I'm just looking forward to getting back home and spending some time with him.
Just amazing the last 12 days.
It really is.
For Danny Willett.
Yeah, and I want to say, this is more significant for me this year than it would have been last year because, as you know, I recently had a nephew. It's the first time I've been an uncle. And my sister and brother-in-law, they had their son, Camden, about a month and a half ago. And they have barely been able to work. It has taken over their lives.
It has.
And when you've seen that firsthand, you understand, wow, like this man just brought a baby into the world 12 days ago. And he's playing in the Masters, and he won it. I mean, if you've really experienced that firsthand, you're like, that is amazing.
He's also from England. Just let that set in.
Yeah.
I mean, so that would be interesting to look up, too, because I don't know if the answer is his wife and son back in England?
That's true.
Was the kid born in England? Did he fly over just to compete in the Masters?
I would imagine that they're still in England. I would imagine.
We'll look that up during the break and see if we can get an answer. But continue going. Willett talks about Spieth and the class act that Spieth is.
He's a class act. To be able to hold face and stuff as he did, obviously hurting like I imagine he would be, just shows, the character of the guy that you're going to have, up and around the world number one spot for the next many, many years. Unfortunately enough, I'm going to be able to, be in that category and play alongside him.
Just amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
For anyone who made it, though, to Saturday and Sunday, they made it to the prize round, money round, and don't feel sorry for any of them. Don't feel sorry.
Oh, they're getting money.
57th place was the last place to bring home some money. How much do you think you brought home?
$10,000?
$23,000.
$23,000. Wow. It's a nice new car.
That is some nice money. Like we said, Spieth finished tied for second. So think about this. If the baby's not born early, there would have been a playoff between Lee Westwood and Jordan Spieth.
Yep.
Just let that settle in.
Yeah, that would have been something else. But wow, and yeah, I mean, Willett. I mean, he definitely deserves the win. It's not like, well, somebody had to win it because Spieth collapsed. I mean, he was 5 under. I mean, the next closest is Spieth and Westwood at 2. So, I mean, he played some great golf and deserved it definitely. Bernard Lager, that 58-year-old, was in it the last day. He was in the second to last pairing. He finishes with a +6. He had a rough day as he shot. Shot 7 over on the day. But he'll go home with $89,000. Not bad.
Not a bad day at the
all.
office. I mean, hey, I'd take it in a heartbeat. Let's see. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk the Thunder. We'll also talk about Golden State, man. 72 wins. Going for 73. Can they do it? We'll give you the answer after the break. You're listening to the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. It's 12:45, and you're listening to the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. And Brad, it is now time to talk a little Thunder basketball. Thunder back in action tonight to take on the Lakers in what will be Kobe Bryant's last road basketball game of his career. Any thoughts, Brad?
It's pretty cool that we get, here in Oklahoma City, we get Kobe Bryant's last road game. And I would hope the crowd would give the respect that's due. I know that Westbrook and Durant and the other guys are going to, really take in the moment and do a good job of showing their respects. And it's going to be an awesome thing. I hope I'll be able to see it tonight. I have a lot of schoolwork to do, but
I think you'll make time.
Yeah, I'll record
at least tape it.
I made time yesterday for the Spurs-Warriors game, even though I shouldn't have, but
it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It is, and it put me a little behind, but it's worth it.
Do you think does Kobe play as much as he did last night?
How many minutes did he play last night?
Let's look it up. He went off, though, against the Rockets.
I know it was upwards of 30, and yeah, he did go off.
Let's see if we can figure this out real quick. Kobe played 27 minutes last night, was 10 for 22, 4 for 11 from 3, 11 for 11 from the line for 35 points.
That's vintage Kobe right there.
That was.
It really is. So it was last night?
Yes, that was last night. That's the tough part.
You would hope that he would play because it's a back-to-back, but, you got 2 games left. I'd like to see a couple more vintage Kobe performances, especially since for the Thunder, this game doesn't really mean anything. So hopefully he brings his A game and shows out for Oklahoma City, the crowd, and shows out for basketball fans everywhere on his way out.
It really would be awesome to see that. And the Thunder. I pushed hitting buttons on accident over here. I was like, why can't I hear myself? The Thunder, though, do they rest anyone? Because Durant and them are going to want to play.
I don't think so, because the last game, maybe you get some positive momentum going into the playoffs. You could see them resting against maybe the Kings and the Trailblazers like they did last week. But, yeah, I don't know. I think that they will try to get everything set as far as their minutes and their rotation for the playoffs. So I think that this will almost be like the dress rehearsal for the postseason. I think they'll play everybody.
Okay. I'm glad you brought up Sacramento. Let's go ahead and talk about that performance. Or lack of.
It was such a Thunder loss,
Yeah.
You could just kind of see it
I know exactly
coming.
what you're saying. Second quarter gave up 34. Fourth quarter gave up 31. Third quarter gave up 27. Ideally, I've always said you want to give up less than 25 points a quarter. Mm-hmm. Only did that in this first.
Yeah, and another thing on offense, I look at one of the things that you guys out there will have to check out. It's still on ucentralmedia.com is my column about what the Thunder can do to really give themselves the best chance in the playoffs. One of those is they need
Where
to...
can we find that column, Brad?
ucentralmedia.com, and it'll be under the sports section. But one of the things I talk about is I don't understand this Randy Foye at the point guard.
19 minutes. Only
19
5
minutes,
points.
19 minutes. Not even the points. He had 1 assist in 19 minutes to 2 turnovers. I mean, wait, let me see.
I don't even see an assist down here.
Oh, I was looking at Morrow. Yeah, 0 assists in 19 minutes and 2 turnovers. That is not what you want from your backup point guard. And it stands to reason. In the last game, I remember just off the top of my head, Cameron Payne had 6 assists, 0 turnovers. I mean, that's exactly what you want from your backup point guard. I don't remember how many minutes he played, though.
Rested people against Portland.
That was the only reason Payne played in that one.
And I got what I wanted. I kind of joked it was because it was my birthday and, they rested players. But Cantor played. Cantor only got 20 minutes. 4 for 7, 11 points. Shot another 3, made it.
Yeah,
6 rebounds.
That's another thing I talked about in the article was getting Cantor more minutes. I mean, this guy cannot be 8th on the team in minutes behind the guys like Waiters and Singler.
Waiters got more minutes. Yeah,
Singler almost played as many minutes.
Yeah, Singler. Oh man,
Robertson played more minutes.
Yeah, Robertson played. It's mine.
It's ridiculous.
Why did Durant play 40 minutes?
I don't know. And back to the whole point guard thing, you look at the assists, Westbrook and Durant accounted for 18 of the 24 assists. I mean, somehow Waiters had 4, so that was a good game for him, but that's not typical. Robertson had 1, Adams had 1. Other than that, it was all your 2 stars, and to me, that's just not winning basketball. So the good thing is this game didn't mean anything, but they got to get rid of their bad habits. But unfortunately, it looks like they're going to have Foye as the backup point guard, which I do not agree with at all come playoff time.
The Thunder, or the Kings, had, 13 more shots than the Thunder did, and they shot 47.9% from the field. Hard to win games, so if you're going to give up that high of a shooting percentage against anyone.
Well, and then you let Seth Curry look like his brother. 7 of 13, 6 of 10 from 3. That was, I watched the first half of this game. If you really watched, that's what sparked the Kings to the victory. If he doesn't have that kind of night, the Thunder probably win this game. So the defense has got to tighten up. You would hope that they're just, okay, it's Sacramento road game, Saturday night. We're going to just kind of waltz into this one and just whatever, blah. But you can't. Hopefully they tighten things up tonight, and in the playoffs they start playing tighter defense and better offense.
That matchup will be tonight at 8:00 at home, and actually they play the Spurs tomorrow night. It'll be back to back.
They're not gonna. Well, yeah,
they won't play anymore.
I thought the Lakers game was the last game. I'm all kinds of messed up today.
They're at home against San Antonio.
Okay,
or they're at San Antonio, excuse me.
I would expect that they'll play everybody tonight and then rest everybody tomorrow. That's my expectation.
Does San Antonio rest everyone as well? I would imagine so.
I think so. Maybe not everyone. They might play Leonard or somebody, but I would expect Parker or Ginobili to sit.
Along with Duncan.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Because that was the question, because I said this could be Duncan's last regular season game.
Yeah,
he said last night. He said against Golden State.
I mean, here's the thing. If they didn't care enough about the home record to play Duncan last night,
I agree.
They're not going to care enough about the regular season game.
I agree.
To play Duncan, so
I don't think he plays either. Moving on. Oh, a little side note about about Kobe's last game. It has been moved. It was originally scheduled to be on ESPN. Well, ESPN has moved it to ESPN2.
So they can cover the Warriors game.
So they can cover Grizzlies at Warriors. To witness history.
So everybody's going to be switching back and forth, pretty much.
Interesting. And that will be Wednesday, I believe. Yes, Wednesday. I know we'll all be watching Wednesday night. Spurs and Warriors though last night. Any thoughts? You watched it.
Yeah. I kind of said it at the beginning of the show. You know, it just shows that the Warriors can win in so many different ways. I mean, last night it was one of those low-scoring kind of grinded-out games, and they pulled it out. You know, I thought a big difference was Maurice Spates. He really came off the bench, gave them some really good minutes. Curry had a run, I think, in the third quarter, which propelled the Warriors to the lead. Because prior to that, the Spurs had led most of the game. But Curry went off, and then when he was sitting, Maurice Spates picked up the slack. I mean, that's what makes this team so dangerous is even if their other players aren't feeling it, like a Barnes, like a Iguodala, I mean, they can go deep into their bench, get a guy like Spates, get a guy like Livingston to give them some great minutes.
I agree. Here is Steph Curry and Steve Kerr after the win last night.
The goal is to win a championship. That's what we're playing for. But we've put ourselves in a great position to end the season with a win and do something no team's done in history. So that's an amazing accomplishment.
It meant more to me back then, personally, but to see the look on these guys' faces knowing that they have a chance to break the record and at least they've tied it, they're pretty excited, and that's what's great about coaching, when you see your team smiling and happy.
So the question is, what's more important, the record or winning an NBA title?
Winning the title, but man, I mean, they have a chance to do both. They have a very good chance to do both.
They do. They have a great team. Mm-hmm. But it just worries me that they probably aren't getting the rest that they need.
Yeah, I could definitely see them, maybe not definitely, that's the wrong word, but I could see, they get into a conference finals against the Spurs, and the Spurs just take them out. They're exhausted, and the Spurs have rested people, and they smack them in the mouth, and the Warriors don't recover. I could see it, and that's what I'm hoping will happen, because I did pick the Spurs to win it all, and I'm going to stay with that, even though last night notwithstanding.
I see the Spurs. Whoever wins the West, I think, wins it.
Oh,
Would you agree with that?
Most definitely.
Cleveland's not.
Have you looked at, I actually just looked at this before the show, have you looked at Hollinger's playoff odds?
No.
He has the Warriors around 44% chance to win it all. Spurs like 35. Thunder is actually higher than Cleveland at I think they're
really.
Well, maybe not. No,
that
I'm
would
sorry.
Be hard to see.
Sorry, no. I'm mistaken. The Thunder at 5%.
Okay.
And Cleveland's at 9%.
So he has it going. Excuse me. Let's see. So Golden State, San Antonio, Cleveland, Oklahoma City.
Yeah, but there's such a wide gap between.
Yeah, the two top dogs and then Cleveland.
Yeah, and then the gap between San Antonio and Golden State is pretty sizable too, if you think about it. I mean, 10% is a big jump. So,
oh man, it'll be interesting to see. Moving on, college football bowl bonanza is stopping at 41 games for now. The NCAA reportedly approves a 3-year moratorium on new bowl games. I think I said that word right. But basically, they are not going to add any bowl games for 3 years. After last year, 3 teams with losing records, Nebraska, Minnesota, and San Jose State, all earned bowl berths despite posting a losing record. Let's see. Before that, it was reported only 4 teams in the previous 45 years had played in a bowl game with a losing record. So do you think they're doing the right thing by stopping to add bowl games right now, Brad?
Absolutely. In fact, I'd like to see it a longer ban than 3 years, maybe like 5, because, I mean, getting to a bowl game is supposed to be special, but we've got all these bowls with these ridiculous names of companies, and it's just, at what point do you have to put aside, getting more money and more revenue to preserve the competitive spirit and integrity of the sport? I mean, if you have a losing record, you should not be in a bowl game. And in my opinion, if you don't have much more than just a 500 record, you shouldn't be in a bowl game. So I agree wholeheartedly.
I agree, but it's still football on TV. I mean, does it hurt you to watch? You get some extra games to watch on TV. Yeah, I like to see teams with a winning record. That's what I want to see. But at the same time, I don't have a problem with the number of bowl games right now.
It does kind of hurt me to watch certain teams play football.
It's just some extra football. I mean, during the day, during Christmas break, what else are you going to watch? Basketball really isn't on till the evening.
I just feel like it's enough. I mean, if
enough, okay.
They could play Canadian football on TV. I still wouldn't watch it. I mean, that's the truth. I tried to watch it during the lockout a few years ago, but that's about it, because that was all there was. No,
you couldn't do it. Unfortunately, the bowl expansion is probably it's gonna hurt 3 cities, like we talked about earlier: Austin, Texas; Myrtle Beach, South Carolina; and Charleston, South Carolina. Kudos to me for earlier remembering that just off the top of my head. And they were already in the process of creating bowls for the 2016 season. After the last bowl period where they did not allow any bowl games ended in 2014, there were 6 new bowl games added to the slate. So it should be interesting to see if automatically they'll add more bowl games right off the bat once this ends.
Yeah, that's definitely something to watch for.
It is. Brad, what do we got going on the Vista?
Well, as I was telling you during the break, we have moved from printing monthly to bi-weekly. So we actually had our first...
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, we've had our first bi-weekly issue just come out, hit stands today. You guys can go pick it up. Actually, the article I was telling you guys about, my column about what the Thunder can do in the playoffs to be successful, that's actually in this issue.
It's in the paper.
So you can actually, if you're going to campus today within the next week or so, go pick up a copy and read it.
Where on campus can we find one?
All throughout the buildings, especially the Mass Comm building, the communications building, the business building. We've got stands all throughout, so just look out for those. Pick up a copy. I'd love for you guys to read it. Let me know what you think. We've got 3 or 4 sports stories in there that are all really good. So
that's what I like to hear.
Yeah,
sports stories.
We hope you guys go and pick those up.
Okay, Brad. Have a good one. Be sure to watch tonight the Kobe farewell.
All right, will do. Take care, everybody.
Okay, you've been listening to the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. We will be back Wednesday. We will break down the Thunder's next 2 basketball games. We'll also be talking more sports. Baseball. Baseball's in full swing. All the Cubs fans, what are you going to do now that Schwarber tore his ACL? There's so much to talk about in the world of sports, and we'll break it all down here. So thank you for watching. Or thank you for listening. You've been listening to the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. We'll see you Wednesday.